So let us talk about the peer review. Peer review is your week 8. This video will explain everything that you need to do about the peer review. When you open the folder for peer review, this video will be there. There will be a PowerPoint that we will go through. There will be a peer review editing document and then your Dropbox. So let us first look at the peer review PowerPoint. Basically, when you are doing a peer review, you are looking for the fact that the students have done academic language, analyzed, synthesized the information, the APA, and all those things. This is taking just a second to load. So here is the peer review PowerPoint. I have also consolidated all the information in a Word document, which I'll show you in just a minute. So when you look at the peer review PowerPoint, this is what? If your peer says, research says, or study says, that is not a no. So mark it down, okay? And I am going to go through how is the best way to mark it. So just listen to what it is over here. So you're going to mark it if it says research says or study says or anything like that. That is unprofessional. Basically, studies don't say. The authors report the results of the studies, or the researchers using the experiment or using the data report or state or recommend or call, whatever it is. So this is one thing you're going to be looking for. Obviously, you're going to be looking for the structure of the sentence. It needs to be third person. There should be no I, we, or anything. It says no first or second person. It should all be third person, okay? Next is just the sentence structure of it. There are a couch and a table in the room. A couch and table are in the room. So you are actually making it an unobjective statement. Both of them are okay, but the second statement sounds better than the first statement. So your job would be to analyze. You have the tools because you yourself are writing a research paper, and so you know you're going through the process of it. And then I am also hoping reviewing another paper will also provide you more insight into what needs to be changed for your own paper. And constructive, please. We are not trying to criticize anyone. We are all here learning and revising and reflecting. So be constructive and not condescending in your arguments or in your feedback. So you look for building an argument, combining similar lines of thoughts. So if the peer is actually doing one paragraph is one study, second paragraph is another study, third paragraph is another study, they are not synthesizing or combining the information. They are just reporting article by article. Look if it has headings and subheadings. That is another thing. If several articles say the same thing, discussion of the findings and reference for them should be all at the same time in the same paragraph. APA, you already know how APA is, a work by two authors, research by this showed, or Wagner in this and No Child Left Behind. And then work with 3 or more, 5 authors is the first time you use all of them, but the next time is an et al. And the period goes at the end of the sentence after the citation, not before and then. So these are all the APA things to look for. Correct sentencing, grammar, third person, synthesis, APA. I'm going to show you the Word document in which I have also broken these down into much details. So you're not writing their paper, but rather you're informing them of the corrections to be made. Make your feedback constructive and detailed, which is obviously your grade for the peer feedback. You can say something like, please check the wording here, or how about starting the sentences like this, or APA needs to be corrected here, this is a repeat, combined concepts. So these are some of the sentence stems you can say that I've given you. So you are going to be submitting only one thing. Okay, and that is going to be your peer's paper. I'll show you in just a second how you're going to do that. So let's look at the document first. So when I go back, and here is your peer review editing document. This is kind of, you could say, is also really like a checklist. So if you're looking at the introduction, they have the purpose, they have a summary, they have a specific research question. Do they have those? If they have those, you could actually make a comment. All those things are there. A specific research question is there. Your literature review is 7 pages. The final literature review has to be 7 to 8 pages. But if they have a minimum of 5 pages, the minimum number of resources is about 8 to 10. That is good. And number of resources for credit are only prime resources. So here's another thing that you need to be careful about is they are going to be revising their paper after this. So if they have a minimum number, they are good. But in your final paper, you do need more than 10 primary resources for those. Check margins, check font, check header and page numbers. Check the title and headings. Do they have headings? Do they have title? Check spaces. How are the spaces? The numbers. How does APA talk about numbers? If I have numbers 1 to 9, how do I write them? Is it in words or is it in actual writing in the number? Line spacing. Once you're checking the language, you're going to report and not comment. Clear and concise. They have a language. Avoid like us, we, first person. Has no place in literature review. Past tense in most all the cases. Now some 1 or 2 may be writing in present tense, but then it should be the same tense throughout the paper. Are they using abbreviation as APA rules? If they use in it, direct quotes. Here it says you can have only 1. I have given you the freedom that the person can have up to 2, but if they have above 2, then this is another comment to make, is you have more direct quotes. Paragraph, the transitions are other things that you're going to be looking at. Spellings, word choice, your or your, there, to, things like that. Punctuation, commas. You can print this list out or put it in another computer as you are correcting their papers, however you want to do it. Citation format, use and within the parentheses. That means if you have your reference within the parentheses, you use the symbol. But if it is in the text outside the parentheses, then you use the and. More than 2 authors, are they separated by commas? How is it done? Look at here, an example is given. If it's a direct quote, does it have a page number? Proper format being used. And then when you are editing, there should never be an instant when the reader is in doubt of the source, in the sense as you look at it and you're like, what is this resource? And that should never be the case. Okay, make sure every citation that is there in text is included in the reference, and every citation that is in the reference is included in the text. This is what I did for each one of you. So and so now you're going to do it for just one paper, which is also going to give you practice for doing your own paper. So this is a very important point, the number 7. Make sure that each citation that is there in the text is included in the reference, and if it is in the reference, then it should be included. If not, you can mark it red or say citation not included in the reference. And then references are double space, alphabetical order, and all those things. That is the APA states that. This is your peer reviewing document. So let us now talk about as to how you are going to do the peer review. So I've opened up this document, which I am going to, this is written in APA format. It is just an example for you guys to see how to do it. So here's the introduction. Here is the literature review. As you can say, the literature review has does not have headings. So that would be one of the things to point out. But how are you going to do that? So what you do is you go under the button that says review. You turn on track changes. This is how it's going to look at. So you click on the track changes. So if you are adding anything in it, it is going to come like that. Okay, so when you get the paper back, you can obviously remove the track changes, or you can have the track changes and you can say accept this and it gets accepted. Okay, so I'm going to delete this. See, if I am deleting something, this is how it comes up. So you are not going to be doing this much as you're going to be making comments. So I could say is I could do this and I could make a comment, say should this be in italics? And that is my comment that I have made. Okay, I am going to make this a little bit smaller so that you guys can see the comments too. So let me go down and say look at the language that is being used, imperative, things like that. This study adopts a contrasting view by examining. So look at the wording and the academic choice of wording that is given there. Then you say instead of it's like headings are not seen in the paper or something like that. Okay, be constructive about it. So here is a reference. Suppose this reference was I'm going to find another reference. Let's see. Okay, so you see there's so many references over here. Let's suppose this reference had an and here. Okay, so you're going to select and you'll select and say check APA. Okay, so those are the ways you are doing it, trying to say, or you will say reference not seen in the reference list. So basically what you will be doing is making comments using this review button. And once you do it, you will just save it with the same title and upload it. Just save it with the same title and then upload it. Yours would say like paper 1, paper 11, or however they say that. So over here, when you see that this author iterates that viewing a fraction simply as a number is pedagogical naive as well as historical and psychologically incorrect. So there is a page number, the period is after it. If they did not have a page number, you would just select and say direct quote does not have a page number. So you're telling them details about what needs to be done. Or suppose it says we should look at, so then you would select the we and state that first person is used, which needs to change, or which is not allowed in lit review, or first person needs to change to third person, things like that. So you're going to make a comment and make sure that all of that is there. You are looking at suppose they have like the same kind of like they have article by article rather than synthesizing, then you'll just select and say synthesis, the synthesis is not seen, or paragraphs are set by articles. Okay, things like that. You need to combine the information. Combining information is necessary. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. This is a peer review, constructive peer review that you are giving to your peers, and see